I'm John McAllister with the John McAllister Report. And today, my guest is the new athletics director at Upper Sandusky High School, Blake England. Young guy, kind of inexperienced as far as being an actual athletics director, but he's been around sports for a long time. He's coached sports for a long time. He's worked with kids for a long time, and he's also served as a principal of an elementary, which to me is huge as far as patience and understanding and things like that. Blake is from Upper Sandusky. He went to Hillsdale College that he's going to talk about in a minute, but he has a great background. And I thought it would be fun to talk to him and see just what makes him go as an athletics director, what makes some of his new ideas important, and just get an overall feel for the local guy, Blake England. So if you would sit back and enjoy my video podcast with Blake. Should be fun. Okay, as I said earlier, my guest today is Blake England. Blake England is the new athletics director at Upper Sandusky High School. And of course, most of you follow this, know that's where I live in the community. And I don't get to follow Upper Sandusky, or I don't follow them as much as I should because I live here, but they seem to be doing a good job with their athletics program. Blake, how are you this morning?
I'm great, John. Thanks for inviting me to be on the show. But yeah, just another day in paradise for me.
You know, I really think it might be. When I was a football coach and a track coach, and there was a time when I wanted to be an athletics director. They worked a half a day on athletics and either taught or coached. Those days are gone, aren't they?
Yes.
The half day stuff's gone, right?
Yes, the half day stuff is gone. It's a full time. When I first started, somebody told me AD stands for all day, after dark, and awfully dumb. So that's kind of the motto for being an athletic director.
Wow, that might be true. That might be true. When I was talking about being an athlete, I never really pursued it, but I always think two things. I think you have to have a great secretary that just focuses on you. Now, I'm not saying that happens. I'm saying that's what I think. And the other thing is you have to have one, maybe two guys that you can totally trust. And that's to trust to be there on time and to help you. Those two things, I think your job gets a little bit better, right?
Absolutely. Secretary is absolutely right. I've got a great secretary, very helpful, very knowledgeable, been here a long time, very helpful this year, taking the training wheels off for me. And just surrounding myself with positive people and people that are reliable, because, I want to be reliable to them, and it's kind of a reciprocal relationship. So yeah, that's a true statement.
Reliable. My golly, that's a tough call these days. Reliable. Yes. Anyway, let's talk a little bit, Blake. I think you graduated, 29 or 210 or 2029 or 2010, someplace in there?
2004.
Well, you graduated in 2004. Okay, I must have made a mistake earlier. Then what did you do after graduation from Upper Sandusky?
After graduation, I went to Hillsdale College, which is a small Division II college in Michigan. I ran track and field there for 4 years. I was a 2-year captain of that team. Great experience there, and that's where I continued my love for athletics. So that's where I went to school right after graduation. I went there for 4 years and got my Bachelor of Arts degree in phys ed and K through 12 education.
That's really good. So you do have you prepped a little bit, I'm sure, in a couple classes about athletic administration, correct?
Correct. Yeah, obviously that's one of the classes we had to take as part of our degree was kind of an athletic administration piece. So
Yeah. You know Keith then, right? Head football coach?
yes,
Yeah. Keith Otterbein?
yes. Oh, Otters Army, man. I'm an Otters Army guy. He's a legend up there, and to continue to do it over and over and over again is unbelievable. So, but yeah, that's being around awesome coaches up there really kind of helped. Hey, this is something I want to do. I want to get involved in athletics and continue in athletics. But yeah, Keith's a great guy.
I've known him for many, 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 many years, probably 30, because he was an assistant at Ball State when I first met him.
Oh.
But a long time. Okay, then where did you go after that?
After graduation from Hillsdale, I got a job, fortunately, teaching special ed, phys ed, at the Upper Sandusky Center in Tiffin, Ohio. I spent 10 and a half years there, and that was a great experience. I did a lot of things there. I also coached track and field, youth baseball, or not youth baseball, youth soccer. I've coached youth football. I coached junior high. I mean, I kind of coached a lot of different things, but, working there for 10 and a half years and getting that experience in teaching kind of kept my love for wanting to be involved with sports and athletics. That kept that kind of going with that job.
Then you were the elementary, at St. Peter's, you were the principal or the
Correct.
in charge? I don't know what your title
Yeah.
was.
After I spent my 10 years at the Opportunity Center, I got the opportunity to be named the principal at St. Peter Catholic School here in Upper. So I spent 4 years there. Absolutely loved that job. But while I was doing that, I continued to coach varsity track and field at Riverdale High School. I spent 6 years there as the head girls track coach. Loved that job. Loved St. Peter. But again, being able to come back to my hometown was kind of the draw for that job as well, and to continue the administrative piece of my career. That's kind of the path that I got to go down. So
that's really good. Okay, that's good. Let's talk about you as an athletics director now. Number one thing, just listening to you and reading some things about you and doing some homework. You're a kids guy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm a kids guy.
Yeah, I love hanging out with kids. I love getting to interact with kids and helping them on different journeys. Spending time with elementary kids and spending time with high school kids now is a little bit of a change. But just being around kids and coaching them, and through sports, being able to coach them and see them succeed and kind of go through the process. It's rewarding for me. I love it, and I love bringing that enthusiasm. I try to be their best cheerleader I can be for all of our athletes, and this is an opportunity for me to kind of do that with all of our athletes, and not just being focused on one sport. But yeah, kind of being that rah-rah guy for all of our kids. But yeah, kids, without kids, this isn't the same.
Okay, well, I think I'm a kids guy, and I think it's so important in this day and age. Okay, what caused you to want to be an athletics director?
I think just my love of sports. It's always kind of been something, hey, I'd love to be an athletic director someday. You kind of just say it, but you don't really, think that it's ever going to come to that. But, being around different people who've been involved in athletics and kind of seeing, the success you can have, with athletic programs. And I think it's just always kind of been in the back of my mind. Athletics has been a huge part of my life growing up, and a huge part of my kids' life. And my wife, she was an athlete, so it's kind of just a family thing, and being able to do that here at Uppers is just, it's a dream come true, honestly. But yeah, that's kind of, I've always kind of had that in the back of my mind that I'd love to get this opportunity to do something like this, and so it's just kind of always been there for me.
Well, that's really, really, really good. It's such an important job. What do you consider to be, and you've kind of answered it, what do you consider to be a really good athletic director? What is a really good athletic director like?
Oh, a really good athletic director to me is somebody who can connect with kids. I don't want to be the type, and I've told our student athletes this, is I don't want to be the guy that, hands down punishment or makes up all these rules that you have to continue to follow. I mean, obviously those are important, that is required, but I want to be able to connect with kids and find out what they want in their athletic experience. One of the things I've always told our athletes, and I've told anybody who will listen, is I want high school athletics to be a great 4-year experience, because for 99% of our students, they're only going to get 4 years of that high school athletic experience. And I want it to be a great experience for them, whether they're playing, whether they're spectating, whether they're just being around the athletes and the athletic events. That's what I want for our athletes, and to have that great 4-year experience. So to me, I need to do everything I can to make it meaningful to them and something that they want to continue to do. But making those connections with them and finding out, picking their brain. What do you want out of your athletics? Your athletic experience here at Upper, and what can I do to help, facilitate that for you? So that to me is the number one thing for an athletic director is having that connection. And then obviously the next thing is having a connection with the community. I mean, community plays a huge part in your athletics. They can fund your athletic program. They show support. They come out. They show support for their athletes. So making that good connection and staying in good communication, a good relationship with our community is huge.
It really is. And the trouble is, it's almost like being a minister. You're never going to please 100% of the people.
Yeah.
And once you try to do that, I'm 75 years old, so I've got the wisdom here. But once you start trying to do that, then I think you really get in trouble. So firm but fair. Even with kids, I still think we have to be firm and make the tough decisions. And that's really good for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most exciting thing if it's happened so far? And I think you had a job in August, maybe?
Yeah, I got hired in July. So the most exciting thing so far, I mean, it's all been exciting because it's new, and it's a new experience and a new path for me. But to me, the most exciting thing is seeing the success of our athletes. Brock Montgomery, making it to state and finishing third at state in the golf tournament. It's great. I love that. I was excited for him. I'm excited for our athletes. But just seeing the success our kids have is even if it's a small success. Coaches reaching out saying, hey, this student broke this record. This student leads the state and assists in soccer. Just great things like that. Those are the things that are just mean a lot to me, because I'm excited for those athletes, because I had those experiences and I want them to have those experiences as well. So that's probably the most exciting thing right now, is just the success that some of our students have seen.
It's really good. Let's talk about the facilities, which I think Upper Sandusky has a pretty good facilities out there at their athletic. I see them once in a while, go to a track meet, and I love to watch freshman football and just those kind of things. And I used to joke years ago that Upper Sandusky went, because I traveled all over the state, they went from one of the worst press boxes in Ohio to one of the best. But it's pretty good. And you guys went from the outhouse to the as far as that's so good. And I see things that are going on and that making it better. I wish that people will shoot me now. I kind of wish you had turf, because it's so beneficial. It's so beneficial to your program and all the sports and everything. The band can go out every day and stand in the same place, and they don't do it. You have a really nice practice field, but things like that. Okay, what are your ideas on officiating? It's a loaded question, because I'm going to give you an opinion. But how do we get more officials, Blake? How do we get more track and football and soccer? How do we get more officials involved?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm a former basketball official up until this year. So I was a OHSA certified basketball official. I've also officiated football, youth programs, things like that. But it's really hard. It's tough seeing the way officiating is right now. But I think the biggest thing that I've seen that we can all really improve on is understand that they're human beings. That's a huge issue right now. It's hard to find officials. People, they don't get paid enough to go out there and get yelled and screamed at over an athletic event. I understand the passion. I understand the drive that people have when they go to athletic events, but you also got to understand that this person out there did not sign up to come in here and say, oh, I'm gonna call a game for this person, I'm gonna call a game for this person. They're seeing it as best they can. And I think being, I guess, as a collective group, I'm guilty of it too, yelling at officials, but, and that's fine. And I think any official will tell you that's fine. They're not going to get everything right. And they should be, yelled at if something's not. But to the extent that some people take it is really disheartening. And I think that's really turning a lot of people off to officiating. But I think, the biggest thing we can do to try to get more officials is talk openly about, what the benefits of being an official and what the impact you can have on youth sports as a whole. And I think, giving some more awareness to that. And obviously, one of the things that we're looking at as a league is, obviously increasing pay for officials, making it kind of more worth their while to come out here and want to do it. But yeah, I think educating, our community about the things that officials have to go through in order to do it. And just, again, that respect for these officials that are taking time out of their lives to come and do something for your kid to enjoy. These officials are doing it because they want youth sports to succeed, and they want your child to have that opportunity. So let's don't blow that for our kids.
I think it's really, I think I used to travel all over Ohio, so many football games, but I think honestly in football, they blame the parents, but most of the time you can't hear parents and fans yelling in football. Mm-hmm. I blame the coaches. All these coaches get on these young officials, and I'm always on the sidelines for games, and so I see that stuff, and I tell officials, no, it's the coaches. I tell coaches. Now, other sports I'm not familiar with, so basketball and that stuff, but I agree with you, but I think taking some of the pressure off of parents and fans, I don't think guys want to spend the time learning. I don't think they want to do JV games on Saturday morning. I don't think they want to I think a lot of these guys, they want to be vice presidents right now. And they can't, it's hard to do that. I just wish, I wish an Upper Sandusky would be neat. I think, and I forget his name now. He teaches at Riverdale, I think, but he's a football official. I think it'd be neat if you could just get like 5-6 guys locally that could form a group. And the last thing I would say on that, I think, and it's done in Ohio, if they give all kind of credits in high school. I think if you had a football officiating class, basketball officiating class, and just had those, and then the kids had to pass the test. I mean, you treat them like normal, and then they get a license, and then they can work a lot of those games and stuff, and start in high school with that. And I don't know if it's possible. I'm just reaching out there and with ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, John. I think, another thing is, you're right, the education piece, getting these younger kids and maybe involved and wanting to be, as far as that, that's something I would love to look into as far as something here offering that type of class, or, whether it's a class or whether it's kind of an elective that the kids have the opportunity to do. But yeah, spend some time with some officials.
Yeah. What's your, we go so fast. I like to keep these at 20 minutes, and we're almost 18 minutes now. So we talked about, what's your vision? I'm sure when you applied for the job and interviewed, what's your vision for Upper Sandusky sports?
Vision, obviously, my thing is to find, make things better than where I found them. And I got to give a shout out to Brad Ehrman. Brad did a fantastic job here for so many years, and he's such a well-respected guy. And, it's very tough for me to follow in those footsteps, but I'm not trying to follow in Brad's footsteps. I'm trying to create my own path. And to me, it's getting, the community back to the sense of, this is Ram pride. This is Upper Sandusky athletics. And it's something that, I feel strongly that we have the pieces to be able to get that back there, but having people communities, students be excited about our sports and getting our facilities, like you mentioned, getting our facilities up to the point where it's drawing people, that people want to come here and participate, whether you're coming as an opponent or whether you're leaving a community and moving somewhere. This is a place that, hey, we want to come here because that's attractive to people. But I just want to get back to that tradition of excellence, where we hold our student athletes to a high standard, we hold our coaches to a high standard, we hold our staff members to a high standard, and we're there. We really are, and I want to continue to do that and to continue to strive for that. So that's my big my big vision for Upper Sandusky Athletics. So let's get back to that tradition of excellence.
And I think the other thing that would be hard, it's hard, I know that, but it's game help. As game, doing game, that's hard to do, I know. And I think I saw an advertisement in the paper reaching out to people. I think it's hard, but boy, it's really, really important to your program. I think you were taking tickets at a varsity game. That's not good. But I mean, it's what you have to do. But I hope and the community could do more game help things. And it's really important. Okay.
It is.
Tell me, maybe not a fair question. Last question. Let's talk about discipline. If you can, Blake, some ideas on discipline. See, I don't call it discipline. I call it structure. I used to teach, but it looked like I didn't have discipline sometimes, but I had structure because I was a kids guy. But tell me about structure, discipline. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, structure and discipline obviously are always tough things to discuss, or tough topics to be, talking about, because everybody has their different opinions on how they want to do it. But since I was a principal, my idea of discipline is, I want to build a relationship with our students and our staff that, hey, I'm here for you. I've got your back. I support you. Build a great relationship with them. That way, when situations arise where you have to step into that discipline mode, it's more of a, hey, I'm disappointed in in your action. I'm not disappointed in you as a person. I'm disappointed in the decision you made. And I found that's been successful for me. Build that relationship. I don't want to be the one that just stands here, just hands down punishment, and that's all. The only time interaction you have with me is handing down punishment.
Wait a minute, Blake. You're getting a lot of background.
Yeah, it's class change. Kids are walking by, so I apologize.
Okay. Let's go ahead and finish that.
Yeah, so to me, it's just building that good relationship with our students and our staff. So that way, when you have to have those uncomfortable conversations, it's more of a partnership. Hey, look, I understand this. Anytime we have to discipline a student or a coach for anything, it's hey, I still have your back. I still support you. I still think you're a great person. We made this mistake. We're going to get past this mistake together. We're going to handle it internally. We're going to do the things that we need to do, and then we're going to move on from this, and we're both going to be better. I always try to find something that I can learn out of the situation as well. But what key thing is letting them know that I'm still there for them. I still support what they do, and I still am going to be their biggest cheerleader.
See, I agree. I think with what you're saying, I think one of the problems, sports are still to educate kids. They're still part of the growth process, and to sometimes, people want to put the hammer down and rip up all that stuff. Well, you're still dealing with kids, and I think it's important. And I think you do discipline. I think one does discipline. Let's start this again. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general. But I think you have to be firm. But we can't lose it totally by trying to be cut them off and whatever. But interesting. I think it's really, really good. Well, Blake, I really appreciate you being on my podcast. It's good to talk to our own athletics director here in Upper Sandusky, and I wish you the best ahead. Thanks
so much. Thanks, John. I really appreciate it, and go Rams.
Go Rams. Once a Ram, always a Ram.
Always a Ram. You're always a Ram, no matter what. No matter how old you get, you're always a Ram.
As soon as I getting in with Davy Jones' earsight, I try to find out how the Rams did. So
Yeah, Davey does a good job of giving us props too. So thanks.
thank you.